Hello class, welcome to public administration class. I think this is lecture 6. So before starting, what we will do, we will briefly revisit what we studied in lecture 5. As you know, in lecture 5 we saw meaning and scope of public administration, and as I told you, the meaning of public administration itself is a very debatable aspect. When meaning is so much debatable, then it is obvious that the scope of public administration will be also debatable. So today what we are going to see, after that we saw about public and private administration. Okay, public and private administration. Okay, we saw differences between public and private administration. After that, I told you we will see evolutionary aspect of public administration. So first thing you should know, when we are talking about evolution of public administration, then your concept should be very clear. Actually, we are not talking about practice, public administration as practice. Actually, we are not talking about this aspect. Why? Because this aspect, we have seen how this aspect is there since 5,000 years when civilization started. Okay, so it is obvious that we are actually not talking about this aspect. We are talking about which aspect? We are talking about evolution of public administration as a academic discipline, as a academic discipline, as an academic discipline, right? Okay, so our main focus today is evolutionary aspect. From when? From 1887, when Woodrow Wilson wrote an essay. The essay theme was what? The study of administration in 1887. From there, I am going to give you a brief idea, like in how many stages public administration has passed when it comes to academic connotation. Okay, so before starting, what I will do, I am going to give you a very brief aspect for today's lecture. Okay, so first we will saw, when it comes to evolution of public administration, actually we can divide. See, actually, in how many phases evolution has happened? When we talk about phases, just like meaning and scope, there is no unanimity among scholars on this also. No unanimity among scholars. Among scholars on this aspect. Okay, so there is no standard accepted connotation or standard evolutionary phase, which is which we can say is a standard format. But even after, there is no unanimity among scholars about evolution of public administration, but still there are 6 phases in which we can divide this evolution of public administration. See, actually, for understanding evolutionary aspect, you need to understand some theoretical aspect also. So what I will try to do, when I am going to teach that specific aspect, I will try to explain little bit on the concepts. For example, phase 2 in public administration. Anyway, first I will give you a brief overview. After that, we will see what I am telling. Okay. So period 1 is known, very famous period 1 is known as political administration dichotomy. What it is known as? Political administration dichotomy. Okay, political administration dichotomy. And what is time period for this period? 1887, that is when Woodrow Wilson wrote the essay, The Study of Administration, to 1926, right? Okay. Second, second period, second phase or period or era is known as search for universal principle. Search for universal principle. Okay, search for what? Universal principle. And when we say about universal principle, actually that period is 10 years, that is 1927 to 37. Okay, now we will come to third phase. Third phase, we will see what is third phase. So actually, see, I will tell here little bit what is this universal principle. Actually, in phase 2, in public administration, it was accepted that actually you need to develop some standard principles on which public administration should run, on which this discipline should be studied. That's why this period is known as search for universal principle. But actually in phase 3 after 1937, it was found that these principles are not working in a proper way. Okay, so what happened? A big challenge came in form of human relation theory. So human relation theory actually rejects this principle and says, rather than principle, you should focus on human aspect. You should focus on human behavior aspect. You should focus on communication aspect. So this aspect is known as what? This aspect is known as the humanistic challenge. Okay, the humanistic challenge, and the time period is again for 10 years, that is 1938 to 47. Right, now we will move and see fourth phase. What was fourth phase in evolution of public administration? See, actually what happened after this humanistic challenge, actually the concept which they gave was very good. That they focused on different aspect of discipline, that is human. But after that what happened? There was a big question mark on discipline itself. Because there was huge confusion between whether we should study principle or we should study the humanitarian aspect. So new phase started in public administration, that is called interdisciplinary focus. So public administration now became an interdisciplinary aspect. So thinkers who were studying public administration, actually in this phase, that is the interdisciplinary phase, is known as from 1948 to 1970. Actually these thinkers came from various backgrounds. Some were sociologists, some were psychologists, some were political scientists, some were even managers from private industry. So lots of people started coming in this discipline. So, but this principle of existence of discipline was again and again questioned. Then came a new movement which established this discipline, that is public administration, as public administration in a very forceful way, that is known as new public administration. Very famous. And very famous name in this is what? Dwight Waldo. Dwight Waldo is known for new public administration. Okay, Dwight Waldo is known for what? New public administration. Okay, and the time period is 1971 to 1980s. Okay, and sixth aspect or sixth period which is accepted by all in evolution of public administration, that is told to be new paradigm started coming in public administration when we talk about discipline. And what do you mean when you talk about discipline? Actually in public administration, governance, new governance, LPG, privatization, these concepts started coming in public administration. So that's why that period 6 is known as paradigm shift. And from 80s this phase has been started and is still going on. Okay, So this was a brief overview of what I was trying to explain when it comes to evolution of public administration, right? Now we will move and see these individually. So what I will do, I will explain in a very brief form every aspect of these 6 phases. So first we will talk about what? Public administration dichotomy, and famous name is Woodrow Wilson in Study of Administration. In his Study of Administration, Woodrow Wilson argues that politics and administration is a completely different aspect. So what they argue about what? This is politics, this is administration. So according to Woodrow Wilson, politics deals with values and administration deals with facts. Okay? Or if you want to say in another language, it deals with implementation of laws. What deals with implementation of laws? Administration. But politics deals with what? Framing of laws. Politics deals with what? Framing of laws. Okay? So this first aspect is famous for Woodrow Wilson. Some more thinkers who supported this idea. We will see who were other thinkers who were supporting this idea. The famous name who supported this idea is Frank J. Goodenough. Frank J. Goodenough. He also supported this idea that politics and administration are completely different. Actually, in 1900, he wrote one book. The book name is what? Politics and Administration. Politics and Administration. Okay? And second name who supported this idea. See, actually why I am telling this, please ensure that you are remembering thinkers. Because many times when you are writing your answer in Bihar PCS, UP PCS, IAS exam, please ensure that you know various thinkers which you can quote in your answer. Only then you are going to get very good marks. Okay. So next thinker who supported this idea is also very famous. His name is Leonard D. White. Okay. In 1926, again he wrote a book, very famous book, An Introduction to the Study of Public Administration. This is the name of his book, An Introduction to what? Study of Public Administration. In that book he argues about separation of what? Politics and administration. Okay, so this is about period 1. Now we'll move to period 2. Okay, we will see now period 2. So in period 2 what has happened? Actually this period is very famously known as what? Principal era. Actually this period itself is very famously known as Principal era, and as I told you, this is around for 10 years public administration. It was thought that we should focus on developing what? Standard principle if we want to study public administration. Actually this period is also known as golden period of public administration. Why? Because the moment you start focusing on principle, what will happen? The moment you start focusing on principle, actually you are moving slowly towards what? Science. Because what is science? See, in science, if there are some formula or principles, if there is some formula, any formula or principle in science, what you can do, if you are facing any problem, simply you can take that formula, you can apply that formula or solve the problem, है ना? So in this stage actually it was thought that public administration is basically increasing productivity in factory. If your organization is working very efficiently, that is the final goal of public administration. Okay, that's why this stage is this phase is also known as stage of orthodoxy, है ना? Many times when questions are coming, they are simply writing this, they are writing stage of orthodoxy. So when you are saying this, please don't get confused, है ना? So see, actually after evolution of public administration, actually we are directly going to enter in chapter 2, that is administrative theory. Because if you are not understanding here properly anything, don't worry, after this, है ना, actually we will enter in chapter 2 only. In chapter 2 we will start from thinkers only, है ना? We will start from thinkers only. Actually we will start from this principal era only, है ना? Because Woodrow Wilson, I think I already told you, we studied in detail about Woodrow Wilson. Okay, so some name who is famous in this era, some name, some thinkers who are very famous in this era is, first name should come is Henry Fayol, है ना? Gulick and Urwick, very famous name, है ना? We will see in later lecture. And Taylor, very famous. So these are some famous thinkers who are known as big supporters of classical era. Now they were challenged by human relation thinkers or human relation theorists. They were challenged by human relation thinkers. Basically, one name is very famous, that is Elton Mayo. Experiments of Elton Mayo in factory proved that actually for achieving productivity, and remember, for achieving productivity efficiency, actually classical's complete focus was on this. But Elton Mayo completely broke the myth that you need proper principle. He told no, rather than principle, what you need proper human relation aspect. You need to see what is happening when it comes to group behavior. So Elton Mayo or human relation studied group behavior in organization. They studied group behavior in organization, right? And when they studied group behavior, actually they studied about communication. They studied about what? Decision making aspect. Decision making aspect, communication. Okay, so this Elton Mayo challenged the principal era thinkers, है ना? See, actually what happened when this stage came, that is human relation. After that, what has happened, है ना? The golden era of public administration, already it was challenged. So obviously big question started on the discipline itself. Big question started that actually is public administration really is it a discipline or simply it is just a one practice? So lots of questions started on this. So the discipline crisis started from this phase, है ना? Disciplinary crisis started. Okay, so when this disciplinary crisis started, actually what has happened, now public administration got differentiated into various other aspects. It went in a interdisciplinary mode. That is, those who were studying public administration now were actually from different backgrounds. That is, sociologist, psychologist, economist, And actually in this phase, the most focus of the thinkers were on human behavior. So you can argue that actually they were extension of what? Human relation aspect of Elton Mayo. Actually they mostly went into more and more depth. And as you know, when we can calculate time period, actually it is from 48 to 1970. Okay, so some famous name of this era is Herbert Simon, Chester Bernard. Herbert Simon, Chester Bernard. These are very famous name in this interdisciplinary aspect. Okay, and one more name very famous. Actually, when we are studying public policy aspect, this name will come again and again. That is Robert Dahl. Okay, so now we will study about the fifth aspect, that is new public administration. Actually, in this phase, the discipline was completely established. Okay, so public administration, and as public administration was completely established in this phase. Okay, and the famous name who contributed in this era is Dwight Waldo. So I will give a little bit background, or I will give you a little bit background about this era. So what has happened? Big question started on relevance of public administration in a society. Big question started on whether public administration is really a discipline or simply one practice. First thing. Second, what has happened in 1970s, as in lecture 1 I already told you, when we talk about public administration, actually public administration is what? A completely American oriented discipline. So in 1970s in USA there were lots of challenges, such as student rights were there. What else was there? Civil rights movement was going on. Civil rights movement was going on in USA. What else? What else was happening? Vietnam was there. Vietnam War was there. So in this background, actually one very big movement started under the leadership of whom? Dwight Waldo, and under his leadership actually there was big debate that actually public administration is very much relevant to society. Public administration is value oriented rather than fact oriented. Public administration should take concerns such as equity in society, social justice in society. So then in this era, public administration as a discipline was completely established. So now we'll move to paradigm shift. Paradigm shift is nothing but new developments which happened in society or economy. And some new developments are what? Some new developments are, let's say, good governance, LPG, okay, public choice theory. So don't worry much on this. Actually, after this, we are going to study administrative theories, and the moment we are completing administrative theory, we will cover all these aspects separately. Okay, so here actually evolution of public administration is completed, but the best, the best thinker who has given public administration, who has given who has wrote actually on in his book, very famous book on evolution of public administration, that name is called Nicholas Henry. So what we will do, we will little bit understand about this aspect which Nicholas Henry is explaining. Actually Nicholas Henry explains public administration on the basis of locus and focus. And actually one thinker is there, Robert T. Golembowski. He has given concept of locus and focus. Okay, he has given the concept of what? Locus and focus. And Nicholas Henry has taken this locus and focus idea and he has divided evolution of public administration in 6 paradigms. And first we will understand what is this locus and focus. So when we say that locus, when we talk about locus, actually this is nothing but where public administration is situated as an institution. Okay, and when we say about focus, actually what you are studying in public administration. So this is what aspect and this is where aspect. Okay, so that is what aspect and this is what where aspect. Now we will see the 6 paradigms given by Nicholas Henry. Okay, so let's see. Number 1, let's see what Nicholas Henry is talking. So first paradigm he says that is politics administration dichotomy. According to Nicholas Henry, the first is politics administration dichotomy, and time period in which he considers this is actually for good presentation. Let's change our style. That is politics administration dichotomy. Time period is what? 1900 to 1926. So Nicholas Henry argues that actually in this paradigm, that is first one, we have locus but no focus. Actually public administration should be a separate discipline. Should be a separate discipline that we know, but what should be studied in that discipline, actually we don't know much on that, right? Now paradigm 2, that is principles of administration or principal era. Principles of what? Administration. Okay, and this period is known, this period is from 1927 to 37. Okay, and in this period we have focus but we don't have what? Locus. We have what? Focus. So what should be studied in public administration, that we know, but where public administration is situated, that actually we don't know. Is public administration a separate discipline? That we don't argue or we don't know separately, but we know that what should be studied in public administration and what should be studied, principles should be studied in public administration. So we move to third paradigm, which Nicholas Henry argues, that is public administration as a political science. See why he is arguing like this. What has happened after this paradigm? That there was lots of confusion about the discipline itself. As I told you, after human relations theorists, especially Elton Mayo, challenged this era, principal era, then there was big question on whether public administration is really a discipline. So what has happened? Many thinkers of public administration went into political science. So public administration as political science. And it is very obvious. Locus will not be there. Locus will not be there, but focus will also not be there. Why? Because now public administration as an institution, it got mixed into one new discipline, that is political science. Neither we know what should we study in public administration, neither we know what should be where public administration is situated, or is it a separate discipline. Actually in this era the idea of separate discipline itself got challenge. Then in paradigm says public something, actually this paradigm है ना. First I will tell you ना timeline, actually because with timeline actually you people don't have any confusion है ना. So in same timeline from 50 to 70 some thinkers went and merged with management science. Okay, so again no locus was there, no focus was there, because the idea of separate discipline itself was not there. They thought that public administration is a part of what? A management science. Okay, so in fifth paradigm which Nicholas Henry argues है ना, in paradigm 6 public administration as public administration was established है ना, or we can say new public administration came है ना, new public administration. And you know that from 1970s this era started है ना. So public administration now has locus as well as focus है ना, because in this era it was established that public administration is a separate discipline. And next thing, it was also established that what we should study in this new public administration. Okay, here fourth just right, there was neither focus neither locus. Okay, and paradigm 6 है ना, paradigm 6 I think I should, you may have written this, so here we can write in paradigm 6 है ना, which is nothing but new developments in public administration, that is governance, good governance, new public choice theory, these things. Nicholas Henry argues that paradigm 6 is governance paradigm है ना, and it starts from 1990. So focus is there, but again locus is not very much clear. Still there is debate what we should study, what we should not study. Okay, so this was about Nicholas Henry, very important. UPSC has asked Nicholas theory 5 times है ना. So you can है ना, you can see what is importance of Nicholas Henry when it comes to describing paradigms of or evolution of public administration in terms of what? Paradigm. Now here your chapter 1 completes here. Now we will start chapter 2, that is administrative theory. But before starting what we will do, I will give you a brief idea, a brief overview, so that you are not you don't have any confusion when you are ready. Anything actually it is a background है ना, some little bit background for 10 minutes only, 10-12 minutes it will take, very small है ना. So this is last aspect, that is introduction to what? Administrative theory. One more thing, when you will see your syllabus, actually problem with syllabus is that the arrangement of syllabus है ना, either it is IS exam, either Bihar PCS or UP PCS, the arrangement in which syllabus is given is not proper है ना. If you are studying with that arrangement, you may find lots of difficulty in understanding the discipline. So what I have done, I have simply arranged the discipline or syllabus in that way so that you can understand the whole aspect properly है ना. So first we will understand, this is chapter 2, write in your copy, this is chapter 2 है ना. For chapter 1 we took around 6 lecture, for chapter 2 we will take around 20 lecture, because chapter 2 is most important aspect in public administration, completely related to principle. So the most important aspect in public administration start now. One more thing, if you will observe my teaching style, you will see actually for everything I am having one theme है ना. For example, scope I am teaching you differently, meaning I am teaching you differently है ना. Simply public and private administration I am simpling you एकदम separately है ना. So actually why I am doing this? It is nothing but actually these came in form of one complete question. Actually one theme is completely one question. So that's why try to revise your notes regularly, try to read them separately, because one theme can come or is coming in form of one question only. Now let's start this. So when we were starting, I gave you a brief overview of this concept, that is government. Why government? How government came into existence in our society. How slowly and slowly when civilization started. Remember the story of 50 people which I told you in our previous lecture. How this aspect of government was established. So first we can say that government is an institution, right? We can argue that it is an institution by which one fulfill its goal. That goal may be individual or that goal may be collective. That goal may be individual or that goal may be what? Collective. Let me clarify that. Suppose government is established. Now you want good health care. So what you will do? We will expect government to establish health or health hospital or hospital. And what hospital will do? It will ensure that everyone is healthy. If you are getting some disease, so this hospital is there so that disease you can get medicine. Second, if you want education in society, you will establish a school or you will expect the government to establish the school. What school will do? It will educate the children. So that the children who are going to become future rulers or future players in our society, they are actually they are actually doing some productive work in our society. But what happened? In 18th century? You got this now? So in 18th century, this government became a very challenging thing. This government became a very important. In 18th century, new developments happened. What were those new developments? Industrial revolution started. In 18th century, industrial revolution started. What else? Different inventions started, especially machine. In inventions of machine. Inventions of machine started. Now what happened? When new machines started, actually for running these machines, there was need of some skilled people. There was need of skilled people to run them. There was need of skilled people. Okay. So what is important? What happened? Actually, what I am explaining, I am explaining in terms of Europe and USA. Actually, what has happened when demand for skilled labor started coming, then it is very obvious that since these were new developments, so people will not be ready for this. So, problem of absenteeism started in industry. What do you mean by absenteeism? Nothing but absent from workplace. People started avoiding so that they don't handle machine. So lots of problems started. First, second, non-availability of skilled people or skilled labor. This problem started. Okay, and what else? Which problem started? Since the profit which since private industry started due to industrial revolution, they wanted what? Private industry always focuses on profit, but due to non-availability of this skilled labor and absenteeism problem, what has happened? They wanted new methods. They wanted to develop new methods, new scientific ways, new principles, so that they can train people who can handle machine very properly, and in which their factory or industry can run in a very, very productive way. So lots of engineers, lots of managers started experimenting, and not only they started experimenting, and some even became successful, and some even became successful. And these thinkers or managers or engineers or experiments who were doing, these thinkers are nothing but they are known as classical thinkers or classical theorists, because they were pioneers, because they were earliest who actually explained what? Who actually tried to explain the various aspects of organization. Okay, now we will see, when we talk about organization, any organization, if you talk, actually any organization consists of three aspects. What is that? One is man, second is method, and third is material. Any organization, if you want to classify, you can classify this aspect. Any organization consists of 3M. What is that 3M? Method, material, and men. Sorry, not material. That is machine. Actually, it is method only, but for better understanding, right? Machine. So what is this man? This man is nothing but human resource of organization. Today this term is very famous, human resource manager. You may have heard this. When we talk about method simply means process which are running in organization, process which are adopted by organization. And when we talk about machine means nothing but the shape of organization. Shape of organization, how you are arranging hierarchy, how you are arranging span of control, these things. Okay, so actually this our classical thinkers, and it is very important, please ensure that you know this. Classical thinkers focused on method and machine. So classical thinkers focused on what? Method and machine. They completely ignored what? This main aspect. Our classical thinkers, so any thinker who is focusing on machine and process, machine and method, he will be called what? He will be called as classical thinker. Okay. Second, we will study lots of thinkers who are called neoclassical. See, neoclassical thinkers deal with main aspect, that is human relation aspect. But still we will see they have not completely rejected the aspect of what? The aspect of process and machine or method and machine. And any thinker who is actually talking beyond them is known as modern thinker. Is known as what? Modern thinker. So from lecture 7 we will start reading classical, neoclassical and modern thinker. Okay. So today we completed our chapter 1, and I hope before starting chapter 2, I hope that you people will revise and come. Okay. So come prepared, try to read some thinkers and come for next lecture Thank you very much for watching this lecture.